Welcome to the Ultimate Financial Pitfall Guide, tailored just for our generation. I've taken my two most critical videos on financial errors, the mistakes and the traps, and spliced them into one continuous 36-minute masterclass. You're about to learn exactly how to avoid the decisions that will cost you thousands in retirement planning. I'm going to help you keep more of that money that you've worked so hard to save for so many years. So let's settle in and get started. Retirement looks safe, but it can be full of pitfalls. Now, if you're working on how you want your retirement to look, don't overlook what I'm about to show you, because just one wrong move could cost you thousands of dollars. Retirement comes with a ton of decisions. And today I'm revealing 5 of the most common mistakes that retirees and soon-to-be retirees make. The kind that are hard to reverse and easy to regret. And this is just part 1. In part 2, I'll reveal 5 traps that specifically target retirees. And I'll show you exactly how to avoid those as well. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. And whether it's pitfalls or traps, I've got solutions. When it comes to retirement, there's no owner's manual, so let me help fill in some of those blanks. So let's get to it. Okay, number 1 is Medicare Advantage plans. Now, you've seen the commercials, I'm sure. I mean, they sound amazing, right? It's like this all-in-one big package that, everybody's happy. It includes dental and gym memberships. And yeah, what those commercials don't reveal are the negative aspects of Advantage plans. Advantage plans have limited doctor networks. They require prior authorization on many routine tests and procedures. And the worst part is your plan is subject to change each year. What the plan looks like when you're 65 could be totally different when you're 70. Your doctor may be far removed from that accepted, network. Another limitation is most Medicare Advantage plans, they offer either none or very limited stays in skilled rehab or nursing facilities. Medicare currently covers 21 days in one of those covered facilities. And I can speak from experience. Those 21 days are lifesavers when it comes to yourself or someone you love if they've experienced an injury or a fall. After the hospital stay, which is usually very brief, they want you out of there. They're ready for the next person coming in. So that 21 days that you could get in a nursing rehab facility will get you back on your feet. Now, let's just say that you have a Medicare Advantage plan, and at age 70, you're done with it. You want out. You want to just go back to traditional Medicare with a Medigap policy attached to it. You can do that, but here's the catch. You are not guaranteed acceptance into a Medigap plan at that point. You could be denied due to pre-existing conditions, or the premiums could be shockingly expensive at that point. So yes, Medicare Advantage is an option, but go in with your eyes wide open, because it can be great at 65. But years down the road, it can be cumbersome and aggravating, hard to get out of, right when you need it the most. Okay, number 2, let's talk about IRMAA, which stands for Income Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. That's a mouthful, so we're just going to call it IRMAA. IRMAA is an extra charge on your Medicare premiums, and it's based on your income level, your modified adjusted gross income, which we're going to call that MAGI going forward. So for your 2024 Medicare premium amount, Social Security will look back at your MAGI for 2022, 2 years prior. And I'm going to pop up a chart here so you can see the breakdown. Now let's just say if you're single and your MAGI was under $97,000, then the standard Medicare premium of $174 per month would apply. Now, different brackets apply if you're married. But let's say you're a single income earner of $125,000 a year. Now, that's when IRMAA comes into play. You can see from the chart that your Medicare premium jumps to $349 a month, plus an extra $33 for Part D, which is prescription drugs. That's $383 a month, more than double the standard amount. Almost $4,600 a year in just premiums. But here's where people can get caught off guard. Let's say you retire at age 63 and you want to take a lump sum out of your 401k nest egg. Let's say you want to take out $200,000. You want to pay off the mortgage or buy an RV. Now that lump sum withdrawal counts as taxable income. And flash forward 2 years later when you turn 65 and you enroll in Medicare, Medicare is going to look back 2 years ago and see that $200,000 as income. And that's going to put you in the $200,000 IRMAA bracket for that entire year. So here's the gist. If you're a high income earner, expect to pay more for your Medicare premiums. But also be careful about big tax-deferred withdrawals as well. They can push you real quick into a higher IRMAA bracket. Okay, number 3 on the list is required minimum distributions, which are commonly called RMDs. We have a lot of acronyms and abbreviations in this video. RMDs kick in your early to mid-70s. It depends on what year you were born. And it's the government's way of making sure you don't just sit on that big 401k balance and just intend to give it to your heirs when you die without paying any taxes on it. Now, RMDs only apply to tax-deferred accounts such as 401ks, 403bs, traditional IRAs. RMDs do not apply to Roth accounts or HSAs. So on those accounts, they're not going to require you to withdraw anything. But when can RMDs really trip you up? Well, let's paint another scenario. Okay, let's say you retire at age 65. Your income, which will include Social Security and a pension, they'll cover all your living expenses. You've got a 401k balance of $750,000, but it remains untouched because you don't need to tap into it. Now, flash forward to age 73, and that 401k balance, it's grown. You know, we've had some good stock market returns, and it's grown to $1 million at this point. And at 73, now those RMDs, they kick in, they start. So how much do you have to take out each year? Well, the IRS, they have this formula, and it's based on the total amount of your 401k or your IRA and your life expectancy. Let's just use some simplified numbers based on the 2025 RMD tables, and I'm going to insert that chart here so you can see what I'm saying. According to this, they're required to withdraw $40,000 a year, whether they need it or not. That amount is fully taxable, and depending on your pension and even Social Security can come into play with your taxable income. What this will do is more than likely push you into a higher tax bracket than you were prepared for. It could cause a Medicare IRMAA surcharge. It could reduce your eligibility for other benefits. So what can we do to make this situation a little different? Well, of course, we have to back up years back from age 73, because at 73, there's nothing you can do. You've got to take out what they say. But if we can do some planning years before then, in your 60s, maybe you start doing some Roth conversions with all of that tax-deferred money that you have, especially if you're tax deferred heavy, which a lot of us Gen Xers are. That's where the majority of our money is in a tax deferred account. But in your 60s, if you can start doing some Roth conversions, you could even start sooner than that. It just depends on, you have to take into consideration that every time you do a Roth conversion, you're going to have to pay taxes on it that year. You're never going to escape the taxes. But what you can do is maybe space those Roth conversions out. And, if this year particularly doesn't look like a really good year for you to do it, then don't do it that year. I mean, you have more control, you have options. Whereas when RMDs kick in, they want it every year like clockwork. Okay, number 4 is Medicare enrollment penalties. Now, I know this one up close. It happened to my mom. When she turned 65, she should have signed up for Medicare, but she didn't. Why? Because she felt that she could not afford the extra $150 Medicare premium. That's how much it cost back then. She had always been reasonably healthy and felt that she could put it off a little while longer. I had no idea. She managed her own finances at the time. But then she turned 70 and had a health emergency, and she went in with this health emergency totally uninsured. Now that's when I got involved and I helped her get enrolled. But what neither of us realized was that she was going to be penalized for the rest of her life because she did not sign up for it at age 65. She may have saved that $150 a month premium for 5 years, but now she's been paying way more than that every month. So how does it work? If you delay signing up for Medicare Part B when you turn 65, now there are some exceptions, like if you're still working and you have qualified health coverage through an employer. But otherwise, if you fail to sign up when you're eligible at age 65, they will penalize you 10% for every year that you remain uncovered. So in my mom's example, she was uncovered for 5 years. She's paying a 50% penalty on those premiums for the rest of her life. So the bottom line is don't wait, don't procrastinate, don't put it off. When you become eligible, of course, even before then, because you want to research your options, do what you can, everything that you can to get enrolled. And if maybe you have the same thoughts as my mom and feel like you can't afford those premiums, talk to someone at the Social Security office. Talk to them about Medicare assistance, savings programs, state-funded programs. They exist, but you have to ask about them. Number 5 is cashing out for big purchases. Remember that example from tip number 3 where someone takes a big withdrawal from their 401k because they want to remodel the kitchen or buy the RV or pay off the house? Let's say in this instance that we pull out $100,000 all at once. It sounds doable, right? Some of us Gen Xers will be turning 59 and a half soon, or may have already. And at 59 and a half, it's your money. You can start withdrawing it if you want to. No penalty. But penalty-free doesn't mean tax-free. So let's just break this down. Suppose you're still working and you're earning $50,000 a year at your job. You turn 59 and a half and you want to take out that $100,000 to do whatever it is that you've got planned. Now your income, taxable income, for that year has shot up to $150,000. What do you think that's going to do to your taxes when you fill those forms out? You've just elevated yourself to a much higher tax bracket, and you're going to get hit with a massive surprise tax bill. And here's a hidden landmine that people often miss as well. If you're getting your health care insurance from the exchange based on that $50,000 a year income, they're giving you credits for those expensive healthcare premiums. They're giving you credits, for that every month. And you have to, balance those out on your taxes at the end of the year. So when you come back and tell them, I had $150,000 over the year, not just the $50,000, oh, they're going to want every single one of those credits back all at once. And I mean, we're talking massive. So not only do you have the enormous tax bill, but you're going to have to pay back all of those insurance credits all at once. And that's a big deal. And yes, it's your money. You worked hard for it. But if you pull out big lump sums like that, you're handing a great big chunk of it right back to Uncle Sam. And here's the other thing is that once it's out, it's no longer growing. That $100,000 is no longer in there, compounding. Instead, consider taking those big chunks and breaking them down and spreading it out, spacing it out, taking them out in smaller installments. Just be strategic about it. Just know that everything you're taking out of there, whatever the amount is just be prepared. You're going to pay some extra taxes on it. But let's say you're 59 and a half and you're still working and you want to do something. You want to remodel that kitchen or speed up paying off that mortgage. Then maybe discontinue contributing to your retirement nest egg at this point and maybe funnel all of your extra money into that. That keeps you from drawing it out of that 401k all at once. Those are 5 of the most common retirement pitfalls, and they can literally cost you thousands of dollars that you probably won't be able to recover. But in part 2, we're going to look at traps that are even sneakier and possibly even a little more predatory in nature. Retirement is getting harder, and these pitfalls and traps, they're making it even more challenging for us. I want to be a voice that calls this stuff out for all my Gen X and Boomer friends. If this video does nothing more than cause you to do more research, then I consider my mission a success. If you found this information useful, please share it with those you care about. In part 1, I shared some of the biggest retirement pitfalls, from Medicare missteps to 401k tax bombs, and how to avoid them. But in this video, I'm not sugarcoating anything. These aren't just mistakes. These are traps. And every single one of them are after one thing: your hard-earned retirement money. Traps that are built to benefit corporations, private equity firms, salespeople, just not you. Let's break down the fine print they don't want you to read and shine the light on how to avoid these enemies to your retirement future. Number 1 is the contract trap. These aren't just boring legal documents. They can wreck your retirement. You'll find them in 55-plus communities, HOAs, timeshares, prepaid funerals, RV dealerships. They're sold as promises, but usually the one that ends up with the benefits is the company, not you. Let me show you with some real-life examples how dangerous these contracts can be. First, we've got Martha Bray, an 84-year-old Vietnam vet. She paid over $300,000 to enter a senior living community in Illinois. Then a private equity firm bought the properties. Her rent jumped from $13.95 a month to over $6,500 a month. She spent over $100,000 just trying to get out of it. Then you have, in the UK, over 46,000 families prepaid their funerals with a company called Safe Hands. The company collapsed, their money all gone. In Phoenix, an HOA hit residents with a surprise $5 million assessment fee to repair and update the HVAC systems. This hit individual property owners with up to $15,000 that they had to come up with all at once, or risk losing their homes. But they got together, they sued, they won. Let's take RV dealerships as an example. They often pressure you to sign before any repairs are finished, just to lock in the deal. But after that, you're stuck with the problems. Now let's talk about timeshares. Anyone I've ever talked to that's attended one of these timeshare pitches, they always say it's never worth the free Disney tickets or free restaurant meal. Because once they get you in there, they will prevent you from leaving at all costs until they make a deal. I don't know of any other product that is sold with such high pressure marketing than that. And timeshares are not an investment, even if that's what they call it. You're not buying a property. You're buying a contract that allows you to use that property a few times a year. And getting out of that contract requires you to find a willing buyer, which is very rare. People get locked into these timeshares and they end up having to will them to their heirs. This is not something you want to inherit, because now you're stuck with those exorbitant maintenance fees every year. So what can you do about all these contracts? Just saying avoid contracts, well, that's not realistic, because it seems like everything is kind of going in that direction. With 55 plus communities, I've heard stories of people that love them and think it was the greatest decision they ever made. But watch out if they sell that property to another firm, because your contract can then become null and void. Instead, if this interests you, check into renting a property in one of these communities. That keeps you from having to shell out those huge upfront costs and the maintenance costs that are associated with it. If you want an RV, consider buying used. Newer models are plagued with poor quality, extremely long service wait times. The wait times are so long that your warranty will expire and they haven't even gotten to you yet. If you're buying into an HOA, read the fine print and brace for any special assessments that could come along. Prepaid funerals, I don't know. I just don't recommend them. I mean, why not take that money and just devote it to a special savings account that's for your final expenses? I mean, what happens when that funeral home or company, when they fold? Or what if you decide to relocate to be closer to your kids or grandkids? Timeshares? Just plan your vacations freestyle. You like a particular area, then take the time to scour the internet for deals, and then you get to pick the week you want to go. You're not locked into a specific week. There's so many things in life that we're obligated to. Don't make vacation one of them. So when it comes to contracts, it's not a bad idea to get them reviewed by an attorney or an expert. And don't be pressured to sign a contract right away. That's one of their tactics. Go home and sleep on it first. Okay, number 2, the free financial advisor trap. Many retirees are enticed by complimentary financial planning, usually from their bank or an insurance company. These two companies are not where you want to invest your retirement nest egg with. They're almost always trying to get you to buy into products that have very high fees, and you have choices elsewhere. Be skeptical of free advice. If your bank or insurance company approaches you with financial guidance, approach it with caution. First decide, do you need a financial planner? If you're comfortable managing your Social Security, your nest egg, maybe a pension, if you're comfortable doing that on your own, then maybe you don't need one. But for estate planning or tax strategies, or if you're not confident in managing your retirement funds, consult with a fiduciary financial advisor that charges fees for their services. That way you ensure that their advice is in your best interest, not theirs. Now you can go to napfa.org and use their online search tool and find a fiduciary financial advisor in your area. Just ensure that every advisor that you use is truly a fiduciary. If they're not, walk away. Number 3 is I want to get into predatory financial products. There are financial products specifically targeted to retirees that are filled with confusing language and high fees. Let me give you a short list. Beware any products that contain the following names: annuities, reverse mortgage, variable universal life insurance, pension advance loans, possibly even long-term care insurance. Let's just talk briefly about annuities. An annuity is an insurance contract designed to grow your money and then pay it out to you as income. You could almost think of Social Security as a type of annuity, but purchasing a private annuity is not comparable to Social Security. Now, all annuities are not bad, like fixed or immediate annuities. They can make sense in some retirement plans. For example, in one of these types of annuities, you might purchase one for $200,000 at age 60. Then when you turn 80, they'll start paying you a predetermined amount each month for the rest of your life. But that's just one version. Watch out for equity indexed annuities, variable annuities. They often come with serious downsides, huge fees, sometimes as much as 3% of the balance. The surrender periods could lock you up with your money for 7 to 10 years, and you could face very costly surrender charges just to get out of it. So what should you do if you're interested in annuities? Well, first, do your homework online, and not from companies that are trying to sell them to you. I think 2 places that would be good to start would be Clark.com and maybe Investopedia. Then find a financial advisor like the one I described in the previous tip, a fiduciary fee-based advisor, one that's legally required to put your best interests first, and go from there. Now let's talk real briefly about reverse mortgages. The pitch is usually turn your home into income without selling it. And they're usually targeted to people who are house rich, cash poor, which can be a lot of people. But with everything, there can be 2 sides to each coin. The downsides to reverse mortgages could be they'll eat away at your home equity very quickly. You may have nothing left to leave to your heirs. They often include high fees and a very short window to change your mind. So if you find yourself house rich, cash poor, what should you do? You may feel as if you have no other options. And that's when a reverse mortgage may make sense as a last resort. But have you looked at everything? Could you sell and downsize and free up some of your living expenses that way? Could you sell your home to a family member and then rent it back from them? That way it keeps the home in the family. Could you do a HELOC, a home equity line of credit? That could free up some equity for you to live off of. And if you still have a mortgage, could you refinance? If the rates are better now than the rate you have on your mortgage, that could free up, a lot per month. And if none of these options still work for you, then consider again talking to a financial advisor about a reverse mortgage to make sure it's right in your situation. Now, number 4, let's talk about collectibles and coins and alternative investments. The pitch is usually protect your wealth with gold or fine art or rare collectibles, even crypto. You know, the TV ads will always say, hurry, act now, supplies are limited. But the reality is one, these products don't produce income. There's no dividends or interest that's going to come out of them. Number 2, determining the actual true value of collectibles can be difficult. And to try and sell or liquidate them takes time and may incur significant cost in order to do that. Number 3, dealers, they're going to want to cut. Sometimes they can charge up to 20 to 30% to help you liquidate that item. Profits from selling collectibles and gold are taxed at a higher rate. And sometimes these types of items, gold included, they can sometimes blur into more shady or even scammy areas that you have to be careful of. It's more of a Wild West environment. And finally, if we do have an Armageddon crisis event, how are you going to protect these items? I mean, how are you going to access your Bitcoin when the infrastructure has collapsed? And I don't think anybody's going to want your Monet painting. I'm just saying. Am I saying don't purchase gold or Rolex watches? No, I'm not saying that at all. If that's something you want to do, then appoint a certain percentage of your net worth to doing that. 5 to 10%. I wouldn't go any higher than that. And here are some additional tips. Be very wary of buying gold coins from TV commercials. Maybe consider investing in gold ETFs. They can provide you the exposure without having to store or protect the actual physical gold. Selling gold can be difficult, and you can lose, some of that value with just the fees and market fluctuations. Now, if you're a collector, that's great. Just don't confuse a hobby with a retirement investment strategy. And number 5, I want to talk about senior scams and fraud. When we were kids, our parents, they kept all their money in a bank somewhere in town, an actual building with walls and an alarm security system. The only thing they had to worry about were bank robberies. And seriously, I don't think they worried about that. But fast forward to now, where our money has transformed from paper currency to just numbers on a screen. We trust that our money is out there, in the internet universe, a totally different scene than our parents or grandparents had. And with that, we lose those physical walls and that security alarm that was present at the bank down the road. A lot of the security now is on our shoulders. Some financial institutions today will just say, sorry, not our problem, if you get scammed out of your money and you didn't have all of their security protocols turned on, or if you were deceived into giving out your password. So what are my thoughts on this? Try to minimize the companies that you use to manage and store your money. One bank, one brokerage firm. That simplifies things tremendously. Change your passwords often. Make sure that you set up your email and your cell phone with every security layer that's available to you. Our phones and our email have become just as important as our bank accounts. Don't answer any calls or texts. You make the call to inquire, not the other way around. And never click on any links in emails. I want to do a video soon that just lists and names all of the common scams, frauds, phishing examples that are out there. many scams, they succeed because they catch us off guard. But if I can help shed the light on some of them, then we take away that power they have over us. I also recently did a video where I talked solely about how to protect our money, and I'll link that at the end of this video as well. These traps, they range from straight out deceitful to sneaky and full of fake promises, but now you're wise to them. Maybe your experience with one of these 5 I covered today isn't like I described at all. Maybe you have a positive experience that you could share with us in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. But if you've been a victim or you're filled with regret over one of these examples, do not beat yourself up over it. You are not alone. There are shrewd salespeople out there, and your misplaced trust in them is a shame on them, not you. Retirement in the 2020s and beyond, it requires new knowledge, sturdier defenses, and educated decisions. Let's go into this chapter of our lives fully armored, and help me get the word out so Gen Xers can make wise decisions. Please share this video and part 1 with those you care about. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.